All right, so today we're diving into vitamin C and how it affects the immune system.
Yeah.
It's one of those things everyone's always talking about, right?
Right.
Especially when they start feeling a little under the weather.
Uh-huh.
So for this deep dive, we've got a couple of really interesting research articles to dig into.
Okay.
One is a pilot study that looks at how vitamin C supplements actually change the bacteria in our gut.
Interesting.
And then we also have a review article
Okay.
that covers all the ways vitamin C can influence our immune system.
Sounds good.
But you know what really surprised me
What's that?
when I was prepping for this?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the amount of vitamin C you need for a really strong immune system
Okay.
is way more than what you just need to prevent scurvy.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We tend to think of scurvy and like the really extreme deficiency symptoms.
Right.
But even having slightly low levels of vitamin C can really impact how well your immune system functions.
And it's more common than you think?
Yeah, it is. It's surprisingly common even in like Western developed countries.
Wow. Where you wouldn't think people would be deficient. So even if we're not like showing those outward signs of a serious deficiency,
Right.
we could still be missing out on those immune benefits.
Exactly.
So why is that? What makes vitamin C so crucial for our immune system?
Well, vitamin C is kind of a jack of all trades in the body.
Okay.
We know it's a powerful antioxidant,
Uh-huh.
but it also does so much more.
Like what?
It's essential for making collagen.
Oh, yeah. The stuff that holds us together.
Yeah, literally. It's like the glue that holds our tissues together.
Okay.
It also plays a key role in producing carnitine.
And remind me what carnitine does again.
Carnitine is super important for energy production.
Okay.
It helps transport fatty acids into our mitochondria.
So that's where our cells make energy.
Exactly, our little powerhouses.
Cool.
And get this, vitamin C is even involved in making certain hormones.
Oh, wow.
And even in turning genes on and off.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's mind-blowing when you think about it.
Yeah, that's a lot more than I realized. I knew it was important for skin health,
Yeah.
but it sounds like it's busy working all over the body.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of skin,
Yeah.
it's one of the biggest beneficiaries of vitamin C.
Uh-huh.
It's actually highly concentrated in the epidermis, which is the outer layer of our skin.
So it's like right there on the front lines.
Right. And it helps wounds heal faster.
Makes sense.
It boosts collagen production for that youthful plumpness,
Okay.
and it even protects against damage from pollution.
So it's like an internal sunscreen and repair crew for our skin.
Exactly. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about the stars of the immune system,
Okay.
our immune cells.
I'm ready.
Did you know that your white blood cells, particularly neutrophils, are like vitamin C magnets?
What do you mean?
They have 50 to 100 times the concentration of vitamin C found in your blood plasma.
Wow. They really hoard it. Why do they need so much? What are they doing with it?
Well, think of vitamin C as a supercharger for these neutrophils. It helps them mobilize quickly to infection sites like microscopic first responders.
Okay.
They become much more efficient at gobbling up and destroying microbes.
So they're like better equipped to fight off those invaders.
Exactly. And even when they die, vitamin C ensures that they do so neatly through a process called apoptosis.
Apoptosis. Remind me what that is again.
It's like programmed cell death.
Oh, okay.
So it's a way for the neutrophils to self-destruct without causing collateral damage to surrounding tissues.
Makes sense. So it's like vitamin C is making sure our immune cells are effective and organized in their fight.
Exactly. And there's something else really fascinating I wanted to mention.
What's that?
Have you heard of NETs?
Nets.
Yeah, NETs. It stands for neutrophil extracellular traps.
Okay, I don't think I've heard of those. What are they?
So imagine them as like a last-ditch effort by neutrophils to trap and kill pathogens.
Okay.
They release this web-like structure made of DNA and antimicrobial proteins
Oh, wow.
to ensnare those invaders.
Interesting. So it's like they're setting a trap.
Exactly. But sometimes these nets can be a double-edged sword
How so?
because they can also cause damage to our own tissues if they're not properly controlled.
Oh, I see.
And that's where vitamin C comes in again.
Okay.
It helps to regulate net formation, making sure they're deployed effectively.
So it's not just about boosting the immune response. It's
Right.
also about making sure it's targeted and doesn't go overboard.
You got it. It's all about balance.
It seems like vitamin C is really key in keeping things in check.
Absolutely. And its influence doesn't stop there.
Oh.
Vitamin C also supports the function of lymphocytes.
Which
Yeah,
are?
those are our T cells and B cells.
Oh, right. The big guns.
Exactly.
Oh.
And vitamin C helps them multiply and mature.
Okay.
And there's even some research suggesting that it might be involved in how our bodies remember past infections.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, through a process called epigenetics.
Hold on. Epigenetics. That sounds pretty complex. Can you break that down for me a bit?
Sure. So epigenetics is kind of like a layer of control on top of our genes.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually change the DNA sequence itself,
Right.
but it influences which genes are turned on or off.
Oh, I see. So it's like you have a cookbook with all the recipes,
Right.
but epigenetics decides which recipes you actually cook.
That's a great analogy. And it seems that vitamin C might be involved in writing those epigenetic instructions.
So it's helping our immune system learn and adapt from past infections.
Exactly. It's fascinating stuff.
So vitamin C is giving our immune system a memory boost.
You could say that.
That's pretty amazing. But what about inflammation? Does vitamin C play a role there too?
Absolutely. When it comes to inflammation, vitamin C acts like a conductor for cytokines.
Cytokines.
Yeah, those are the signaling molecules that orchestrate the inflammatory response.
Okay, so they're like the messengers of the immune system.
Exactly. Telling different parts of the immune system what to do. And vitamin C helps to fine-tune that response.
So it's making sure the messages are delivered properly.
Exactly. It can either dampen or boost certain signals depending on what's needed. It's all about maintaining balance, making sure you have the right level of inflammation for the situation.
Because too much inflammation can be just as bad as too little, right?
Exactly. It's like a fine-tuned thermostat,
Okay.
making sure the immune system doesn't overreact or underreact.
I like that analogy. So does this balancing act apply to allergies too? Does vitamin C have any effect on histamine?
You're on the right track. Research actually shows that vitamin C can lower histamine levels,
Oh, interesting.
which is great news for people who struggle with allergies.
Right, because histamine is what causes all those annoying allergy symptoms.
Exactly. The sneezing, the itching, the runny nose, all that fun stuff.
So vitamin C could potentially help ease those symptoms.
Exactly. It's not a cure-all, but it could definitely help.
That's good to know. So we've established that vitamin C is pretty amazing for our immune system.
Yeah, it's a real MVP.
But are there things that can mess with our levels even if we're trying to eat a healthy diet?
Unfortunately, yes.
Right.
There are quite a few factors that can deplete our vitamin C stores.
Like?
Smoking is a big one. It significantly reduces vitamin C levels in the body.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Pollution is another culprit.
Okay.
All those free radicals floating around.
Right, our bodies need vitamin C to neutralize those.
Exactly. Chronic conditions like diabetes can also impair vitamin C absorption and utilization.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and sadly, as we age, our bodies naturally become less efficient at absorbing and using vitamin C.
So it's like modern life throws a lot of challenges at our vitamin C levels.
It really does. It's something to be mindful of.
So should we all be reaching for a vitamin C supplement at the first sign of a sniffle?
That's a great question. While it might be tempting to rely on supplements for a quick fix,
Right.
the research suggests that maintaining adequate levels consistently is key for prevention.
So focusing on a diet rich in vitamin C-rich foods is really the first line of defense.
Absolutely. Load up on those colorful fruits and veggies.
The oranges, the strawberries, the bell pepper.
Exactly. Nature's candy.
But we did touch on a pilot study earlier about vitamin C and gut bacteria. Can we dive into that a bit more?
Sure. That study explored the impact of vitamin C supplementation on the gut microbiome.
Which, as we all know, plays a crucial role in overall health and immunity.
Exactly. It's fascinating to think that we have trillions of bacteria living in our gut,
Right.
and we're only just beginning to understand how complex and influential they are.
So what did this study reveal?
Well, this is a small pilot study,
Okay.
but the findings were quite intriguing. They observed that vitamin C supplementation led to noticeable shifts in the populations of different bacteria in the gut.
So was it like a battle between the good and bad bacteria?
It's not always that black and white. What they found was an increase in certain beneficial bacteria,
Okay.
like those from the Bifidobacterium genus.
And those are
known for their anti-inflammatory effects.
So those are good guys.
Yes, generally considered good for gut health.
Did they see any decrease in those potentially harmful bacteria as well?
Yes, they did. They observed a decrease in bacteria from the Rhinococcus genus.
And those are linked to?
Some of those have been linked to inflammatory bowel disease.
Interesting. So it seems like vitamin C might help shift the balance in favor of a healthier gut microbiome.
That's what the study suggests. But of course, more research is needed.
Right, to confirm those findings and explore those long-term effects.
Exactly. It's still early days, but it opens up exciting possibilities.
Yeah, it's amazing to think that something as simple as increasing our vitamin C intake
Right.
could have such a ripple effect on our gut microbiome.
It really highlights the interconnectedness of all these systems in our body.
So speaking of boosting our immune system, I think it's time to address the big question. What's the best way to make sure we're getting enough vitamin C?
That's the million-dollar question. It's multifaceted, but the foundation should always be a diet rich in vitamin C-rich foods.
Those vibrant fruits and veggies we talked about earlier?
Exactly. Make your plate as colorful as possible.
Okay, got it. Colorful plate equals happy immune system. But what about those who struggle to eat enough fruits and veggies consistently, or those with specific health concerns? Is there a role for supplements in those cases?
Supplementation can definitely be a helpful tool to bridge any gaps,
Okay.
especially during times of stress or increased exposure to environmental toxins.
Or if you're battling an illness.
Right. It can act as an extra layer of support for the immune system.
So it's like a backup plan when our diet might not be cutting it.
Exactly. But there are different forms of vitamin C supplements out there.
Right, and doesn't matter which one we choose?
That's an excellent question.
Yeah.
And the answer is, it depends.
On what?
Different forms have different absorption rates and bioavailability.
Bioavailability meaning?
How much of the vitamin C in a supplement is actually absorbed and used by your body.
Okay, so some forms might be better absorbed than others.
Precisely.
Okay.
For example, ascorbic acid is absorbed quickly,
Okay.
but it might not stay in your system as long.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have forms like liposomal vitamin C,
Mhm.
or those bound to minerals like calcium ascorbate.
Okay.
These are absorbed more slowly, but provide more sustained release over time.
Interesting. So it's about choosing the form that best suits our needs and how our bodies process it.
You got it. There's also ester C.
Which is?
It's a patented form of vitamin C that's gentler on the stomach
Oh.
for those who find ascorbic acid a bit harsh.
So there's no one-size-fits-all answer when it comes to supplementation.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The best form of vitamin C really depends on individual needs,
Okay.
health goals, and even lifestyle factors.
So it's a conversation to have with a healthcare provider.
Exactly. They can help you determine the right type and dosage for your unique situation.
Personalized care is key, as always. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, I feel like we need to address the elephant in the room.
What's that?
Oxidative stress.
Oh, yeah.
We touched on it earlier, but I think it deserves a bit more attention.
Okay.
Especially when we're talking about vitamin C and immunity.
You're right. Oxidative stress plays a significant role in how our immune system functions.
Oh.
And vitamin C is a key player in that story. Are you ready to unpack this a bit further?
I'm all ears. Let's get into it. Okay, so oxidative stress. Remind me again why this matters for our immune system.
Well, remember how we talked about vitamin C being such a potent antioxidant?
Right.
It turns out that our immune cells are particularly vulnerable to damage from free radicals.
Oh, those unstable molecules that can damage our cells.
Exactly. The ones that are linked to aging and all sorts of diseases.
Okay.
Now, when our bodies are fighting off infections, it's like a microscopic war zone.
Okay.
And immune cells actually release free radicals as part of their attack strategy.
Oh, wow.
But here's the catch. If those free radicals aren't neutralized,
Yeah.
they can start damaging healthy cells,
Oh, no.
including the very immune cells that are trying to protect us.
So it's like friendly fire.
Exactly. It's like our own bodies are attacking themselves in the midst of battle.
Wow. That's kind of ironic.
It is. And that's where vitamin C comes in to save the day.
Okay.
As a powerful antioxidant, it neutralizes those free radicals.
So it's like a shield for our immune cells.
Exactly.
Mm.
It allows them to function effectively without succumbing to that self-inflicted damage.
So vitamin C is basically providing backup for our immune system.
You got it. Making sure those troops stay healthy and strong during the fight.
But this protective effect isn't just limited to active infections, right?
Right. Oxidative stress is a constant challenge for our bodies.
Yeah.
Because we're exposed to free radicals all the time.
From
Environmental pollutants, processed foods, even as a byproduct of our normal metabolic processes.
So maintaining adequate vitamin C levels is like having a built-in defense system against that constant oxidative stress.
Exactly. Which in turn supports healthy immune function day in and day out.
And that's why chronic vitamin C deficiency can be so detrimental.
Right. It leaves our immune system vulnerable and less equipped to deal with those threats.
It all comes back to balance, doesn't it?
Always does.
Making sure our bodies have what they need to function optimally.
Absolutely. And speaking of balance,
Yeah.
there's one more important point I want to touch on.
What's that?
The potential downsides of too much vitamin C.
Oh, really? Too much of a good thing can be bad. I thought vitamin C was water-soluble.
It is, which means our bodies can flush out any excess,
Right.
but taking extremely high doses, especially for prolonged periods, can still lead to some not-so-fun side effects.
Like what?
The most common ones are gastrointestinal issues,
Okay.
diarrhea, nausea, stomach cramps, things like
The
that.
moderation is key.
Always a good rule of thumb.
We've talked a lot about getting enough vitamin C through diet and supplements,
Right.
but you briefly mentioned intravenous vitamin C earlier. Is
Yeah.
that something you'd recommend for everyone?
Intravenous vitamin C is interesting, but it's definitely not for everyone.
Okay.
It's usually reserved for specific clinical situations,
Like,
treating severe infections or addressing certain medical conditions.
can you give me an example?
Sure, high-dose intravenous vitamin C has shown some promise in treating sepsis.
Sepsis, that's
It's a life-threatening condition where the body's immune response basically goes haywire,
Oh, wow.
causing widespread inflammation and organ damage.
So in those cases, it's not about boosting the immune system.
Right.
It's more about controlling an out-of-control response.
Exactly. Intravenous vitamin C, in those instances, acts more like a targeted therapy, help regulate the immune response, and protect vital organs from damage.
So this is definitely something you'd want to discuss with a doctor.
Absolutely. Intravenous therapies should always be administered under the supervision of a qualified healthcare professional.
Right, not a DIY situation. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
From the basics of vitamin C to some pretty complex stuff.
Yeah, it's been a journey.
What are some key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
Well, first and foremost, I hope they remember that vitamin C is more than just a simple vitamin.
Right.
It plays a vital role in so many processes throughout the body.
And especially when it comes to our immune system.
Exactly. And while getting enough vitamin C through a healthy diet is always the best approach,
Uh-huh.
supplements can definitely be a helpful tool. Bridge any gaps and provide that extra support, especially during times of stress or illness.
And as we learned, the choice of supplement the dosage, even whether or not intravenous therapy is appropriate, are all individual decisions.
Right.
Best made in consultation with a healthcare provider.
Absolutely. Personalized care is always the best approach.
But beyond supplements, it's important to remember that lifestyle factors play a huge role, too.
Oh, for sure.
Things like diet, stress management, avoiding smoking.
All those things can impact your vitamin C levels and overall immune health.
It's about taking a holistic approach to well-being.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes to just how complex and far-reaching vitamin C's impact is.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It's so much more than just a nutrient to ward off scurvy. Yeah. It's really a key player in keeping our bodies healthy and resilient.
I agree.
It makes me wonder if maintaining optimal vitamin C levels throughout our lives could actually play a role in healthy aging.
Interesting.
And preventing chronic diseases. It seems like something worth exploring further.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And it's definitely an area that researchers are actively investigating.
Well, I think that's a great place to wrap up our deep dive on vitamin C.
I agree.
Thanks for joining me today for this fascinating discussion. It's amazing how much there is to learn about even the most familiar nutrients.
It really is. There's always something new to discover.
And as always, we encourage our listeners to do their own research consult with their healthcare providers and make informed decisions about their health.
Well said.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.